Hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 23rd day of October, 2023. Well, I hope y'all had a good weekend. I'm still putting up tomato sauce. I'm going to go out there today and do one more picking, I think. I think in the next couple of days, we're supposed to have a hard frost. It's going to be in the 20s. So I would expect that will be the final end of the garden. But I don't know. I'm surprised that I'm still doing this at this late date. Usually, the climate's changing, though. But usually, I'm done by the middle of September, whatever I'm doing. The only thing I do after that is plant the garlic, which is the other thing I'm going to do today, is plant my garlic. So beyond that, I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. None of it makes any sense. And the only way I can describe it is climate change. So anyway, let's take a look at our oracle card today from the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. We have hummingbird. I have hummingbirds that are all over. They love my honeysuckles. You can hear them as they come up, and when you're sitting out there, it's very cool. But here we have a woman who's actually a depiction of a flower, and the hummingbird is coming and spreading joy and love and all of that to her. And what Hummingbird is asking us to do is to embrace and express joy in all that we do, to celebrate life and our existence in it, to stay positive and not be drawn in by your own suffering. Again, it's where you place your attention. What Hummingbird asks is to redirect your attention from suffering or anything that's negative to feeling joy. You don't look without to find joy. You embody joy within. In other words, it's not about being happy due to circumstances, but in spite of them, and feeling that inner joy in spite of all of that. I think that anytime a hummingbird comes by, I feel nothing but joy. It's an amazing vibration that they exude around them. It's like all of a sudden, oh, there's a hummingbird. Everything's okay now. But again, that's redirecting my attention and being influenced by that and feeling joy when it should be joy should be the natural state that we all exist in. And again, when higher awareness guides that intention, right? Then and instead of ego, because ego is the reaction, ego is the judgment, ego is focusing on the negative instead of continually being inspired by that inner joy that our soul expresses. So anyhow, so for today, be like the hummingbird and embody and express joy in everything you do. Oh, I need to leave this out so I can take a picture of it. Let's go ahead and take a rune here from the Elder Futhark bag to start us off with. As the significator runes, we'll look at the Elder Futhark rune on the as above side, and on the so below side, we'll throw down the 4 elemental geomancy runes to discover what that one is. Okay, we have Othala, which I think we had recently. In fact, I know we did because I showed you the exploded version of it. It's really all Kenaz in all directions, within and without, focusing outward and inward. Kenaz is the light or the torch or the light of spirit. It's clarity, it's healing, it's wellness, it's well-being. It's the higher resonance. Sawillo is another one, but Sawillo is it's the rune of the sun. But again, it's Kenaz skewed and forward and reversed. And so again, you look and you see how many runes actually contain the rune Kenaz in them, and you really begin to understand that it's the light of spirit that is invoked into everything. But here you have at the top, you have Ingus. Which again is Kenaz turned inward. It's the seed. It's the genesis of energy. It's the genesis of life. And then down below you see the X, which is Kenaz expressed outward. That's Gebo, or partnership, or the gift, a gift of reciprocity. But it's being one in the light. And when you look at Othala, you're looking at the 24th rune of the Elder Futhark. That's the last one. You're looking at the sacred space, oaths, loyalty, tradition. Let's see, the Akashic record of our lives, all that we've learned, similar to the world card in the major arcana of the tarot. Security, peace, inheritance, legacy. It's all that we've learned culminated into one thing where we are expressing both the light of spirit within and without in everything that we do, similar to embodying joy with the hummingbird, really. But this is Othala. Very high vibratory rune. Let's go ahead and take the 4 Geomancy elemental runes here. We put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth when I arranged them. Let's see, there's earth, there's air. Okay, so we have, it looks like we have a Missio. Missio is, this is a Missio. This is loss. Or I'm not a Missio, this is Acquisitio. This is a Missio. It's complement. This is gain or increase, whereas loss would be like a decrease. The interesting thing about Acquisitio and Emissio, it can indicate like Fortuna Minor and Fortuna Major fortune, but it can also mean the increase or decrease of something. So Acquisitio, you might think of that as acquiring things or gaining things. There's an increase in something happening today. You can think of it that way. So are we gaining the higher awareness of the connectedness, the sacred space we all share together, the ancestral heritage? What are we gaining from that? If we're talking about legacy with Othala, how are we gaining through that? Are you going to receive an inheritance here coming up or today, or have you just received one? It could mean something like that. But if you're looking at coming together in terms of sharing that sacred space, what do you gain from that? Maybe you see an increase of that sort of thing today, an increase of prosperity, an increase of loyalty, an increase of ancestral heritage. Maybe you're researching your genealogy and you've been learning some things about yourself or about your history, your familial history, family history, so what are you gaining from that? But again, it's the culmination. If you look at it in terms of Othala as the culmination of all that you've learned, what have you gained? What is increased for you? What awareness has increased? What is the overall message that life has brought you thus far? It could be something, even as esoteric as all of that. But let's see what the cards have to say to give us a little bit more information, because that's pretty broad. And no matter how I've looked at it there, let's see if we can narrow it down a little bit to something in particular. We've decided, since a couple of more raccoons have moved in, we if you've been following along with the tragedy that happened around the 4th of July, we lost 2 roosters and a hen to some raccoons. And we had a trapper come out from a pest control place and remove them. So, and he did. But we have, a paradise here for critters that don't belong to us, and even for the ones that do belong to us. It's a wonderful place to live, and they have everything they need here. So of course they're going to come here. There's just no way they're not. But when they started attacking the chickens, that's when we had to draw the line. Well, we have a picture my husband took of 2 more up in a broken tree, high up, and he's just like, oh my God. And so anyway, they're here for the apples, I'm sure, but we heard 1 chicken was out. In fact, all of them were out last night other than 1, and my husband had to go and at around 11 o'clock at night because he forgot, and he went out and he got them. put them in, although we missed one. And we think that they were after her this morning because we heard her, because it's right next to our bedroom. So, of course, we heard her. Anyway, so now we're going to take the automatic door off and put the one back on that broke and doesn't move up and down with the sensor, you know. So this way we can take them in when we want them in at night, and before it gets completely dark and they can't see anything, and then we'll go out in the morning and we'll open them up when we feel it's safe, when there's enough light and the raccoons are, you know, have already gone back to bed or wherever it is they go. So that's what we're doing these days now. I think coming up we're going to have to do that for a while until these guys move on. There's no food left and they move on, and maybe we can revert back to letting them come in and out on their own. But I don't know that we're going to be able to do that. I just can't do that, you know. I can't worry about them that way. It's just too much. It's too emotional. And now that the sun is in Scorpio, emotional, focused, intense, secretive Scorpio. I know this because my youngest son is a Scorpio. Very intelligent, very motivated, very focused, very direct. But at the same time, he's very kind. He's very patient. I mean, you should see him with his children. He's just someone who'll try to find some funny way to say something, and kind of make some droll comment. So that's Scorpio. So pay attention to those in your life. There's Scorpios. If you're a Scorpio, this is your time. This is your zodiac time, your astrological time. And, you know, have fun with it. So anyway, I've gone ahead and shuffled a little more. I've cut the deck. I'm going to take the 3 cards and we'll see what we've got. We've got, and I keep forgetting to do this. Today it's the 23rd, so we have a 5 numerology just for the day itself. So change. So again, I mean, there could be, you know, some change here. It's also about protection, freedom versus restriction, innovation, variety. So that, again, you know, that can help us understand the runes here today as well. But we have, let's see, a 3, a 6, so that's 9, and ace is 1. That's 10, which reduces to 1, so new beginnings. So there could be something today having to do with new beginnings in terms of your sacred space, your heritage, your possessions, your prosperity with Othala, and some increase in that with or gain with that with Acquisitio. But one other thing I want to say about Acquisitio, in terms of increase and decrease between Acquisitio and Amicio. If you were in a loving relationship with someone and you pull you pull the rune Acquisitio, then it can mean an increase in that. If you're having an issue with somebody, or there's an argument that's happened, or there's something going on that's not good, right? That's happening, and you drew Amicio, which is loss, there would be a decrease in that. So you can look at this energetically, all right? So just keep that in mind too with those 2 particular geomancy runes. But right now we have the 3 of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. So we have a run on Pentacles. That's the earth element. That, again, that's very similar to Othala, where we're looking at our material security. We're looking at anything to do really with our physical existence, our family, our work, again, our grounding, our foundation, our structure, practicality, pragmatism, but typically having to do with some type of lucrativeness, or a new path that's going to be lucrative for you, or bring additional material security. But let's start with the 3. Here we see a man who's likely a mason. He's standing on a bench. He's got an apron on, and he's chipping away at something, doing some kind of a sculpture there on the stones, on the bricks that are there. And you see 3 pentacles above here. You see, I mean, it's a beautiful little facade right here. Two women have come by at least it looks like women, are coming by to admire his work. Three is about integration. It's also about communication, but about interactions. And so here you have an interaction between three people, two of which have come by to admire his work. And so with Pentacles, again, he's out there showing what he can do to the world, and you have people now coming by looking at it, and maybe they're going to hire him. And so there's a sense of increase here with Acquisitio, where he may acquire some more work. And so this could have something to do then with Athala, and Acquisitio is maybe gaining more prosperity for you and your family, if you have a family. Here we have the Six of Wands is next. We see a man of means, possibly the king. We don't see a crown, but we do see a wreath here on his head, or it could be the general or commander of the army, maybe, or maybe a lord of the manor has gone to some meeting, like when they signed the Magna Carta. They all came together and they signed this agreement. And here you have another wreath here. You have, I was going to say there's a figure 8 pattern, but I don't think so. It just kind of looked like that from looking at it in the mirror. You have kind of an X there. But you have the horse is kind of looking at you, at the reader. You see green there. So green is going to indicate money. So there was some kind of successful agreement that was made. It doesn't look like anybody is in battle. You see no battle attire on him. Behind him, you see the people behind him. Now they're all walking in the same direction, each one carrying a staff. Staffs are also called wands, and this is a suit of wands. And wands reflects the fire element, whereas, again, pentacles reflects the earth element and our physicality and all of that's related to that. This is the dynamic spark of life. This is new opportunities. This is creativity. And so something has happened here where perhaps there was some kind of a meeting that resulted in some kind of positive outcome that would help them all materially in terms of their material security. Perhaps there was some kind of an agreement where they agreed to grow some crops together. That would be one thing they might do. And do it in a way that would benefit more people in the long run than just each individual place doing it on their own. So there could have been some kind of agreement that's going to benefit everybody involved. And you see that here as they all walk together on a shared, it's almost like there's a shared path forming here, a shared journey that's about to happen as a result of wherever he's been, where he has been victorious at that. 6 is about empathy. It's about harmony. It's about guidance. It's about assistance. Sometimes that assistance is not like with the say 6 of Pentacles, for example. You're showing two people on the ground that are poor, and a guy that has money is dropping coins into their hands. So he's not lifting them out of the poverty that they're in. He's keeping them there basically by just giving them a little instead of offering them a job, so they can then go and make their way themselves and keep and make their own success themselves. So sometimes 6 is not, that assistance is not necessarily done in a way that actually helps people in the long run, but it can help at least in the immediate sense. But there's a shared direction with the 6, a shared level of harmony with the 6. And that's how I see this card when it comes up in a reading. So if you're looking then here collectively, you have the 6 and the 3, that's 9. Something is coming to an end with these two cards. There's going to be a shift, in other words. If you liken this guy here, the Mason, to this guy here, there could be something as a result of the meeting here that you have with somebody that sees what you can do, that maybe then wants to invest in your business maybe, or wants to buy a whole lot of stuff from you, or to hire you to, say, build a series of homes maybe, if you're a contractor. There's something lucrative about these two cards together that then increases some kind of positive shared outcome. So maybe you're able to, if you are a small business person and you maybe don't have any employees at all, maybe whatever comes from this particular interaction is then going to get you to hire other people. You could look at it that way. And now you're all going towards some kind of a job or some kind of a new experience. A new path may be opening, with the endings here felt with the 9 numerology of the 2 cards themselves. Then we come to the ace again. A new opportunity, a new path is opening for lucrativeness. So if you take all this together, you see the unseen hand coming out from the darker cloud holding a very large coin with a lot of light emanating from it, focusing on the ground. You see lilies, which is a rebirth, if you will, or the end of one phase, maybe in the beginning of another. Here is the path going toward the archway here with the hedgerow. And you see the mountains behind. The path will be challenging. Absolutely. It will challenge you in everything that you do. But that can be a good thing, because it helps you strive for more and to be more creative and more, to provide a better life for you. And again, if you have a family. But again, it comes from some kind of interaction that's going to happen. That then sets you on another path of lucrativeness, where either this is your these new opportunities are maybe the people you might do business with, or again, if you're a sole proprietor and you've not been able to really hire people, maybe this is a time where it's going to be so lucrative that you can. So you gather all of that together. You're going along in the same direction with these people, with these new opportunities that come again from this one conversation that you have. And then from there, a new path opens, and you take that path to greater prosperity. So I think that again, I think it fits entirely with Othala and with Acquisitio, in that you're increasing your prosperity. Othala being, if we're going to use the keyword of prosperity to define Othala, perhaps there's going to be some increase in that by virtue of a conversation you have with prospective clients or customers. All right. And then you're able to expand and take on more and more opportunities with all the people you've hired. And I'll tell you, this is the first time I've ever defined this card this way. Usually I usually see a shared purpose here, a shared direction. But given this, and given particularly Acquisitio, it may mean that these are your new employees that are walking along with you, or the new opportunities that you have that are opening, that has opened with a new path that's forming. And it all came about with an interaction you had with some prospective clients, whether or not they hired you or not. Because here's the thing, even if they're not hiring you, they may know people that need something, and they're going to talk. And so whatever conversation you have with people like that, it needs to be positive and uplifting, and it needs to convey to people that you know what you're doing, and you're showing that by being out front with it, which is essentially what's happening here. And they're able to come by and see your work and say, I know I don't have any need for anything right now, but I might later. But I do know some people who do. And so irrespective, it's like a networking type of a thing, maybe, even if that's all it is. Whatever's happened here, it's led to something more. And now you're hiring people, or these are actually representing the clients that you could be going to do something for. Maybe it could be the orders that have been placed for one thing or another. But with the green here, the excessive green here, this is something lucrative. This victory, it's a victory. You've been victorious, in other words, and you're able now to move forward on a new path. Irrespective of the challenges ahead, you're prepared for that because you've done your due diligence here, either in terms of this interaction or in terms of the craft that you've been learning and working for some time. You have the skill set, you have the ability, and you've let people know that. And it's turned into something more, in other words, new opportunities or the ability to hire people. And now you have a larger business where you can take on more work. And then a new path opens to all kinds of wonderful things that can increase your material security for you, the people who work for you, and also your family and their families. So that's kind of exciting on a Monday. I hope that applies for somebody here today that's watching this, because clearly a door may be opening here. So pay attention to the synchronicities. Pay attention to what happens. Don't dismiss a conversation like this as, oh, well, it was just one of those things that happened, and then you forget about it. Because maybe, how you have that conversation with the people coming by could mean everything in terms of your success in your business. So there you have it. Not too bad for a Monday. Well, we have, let's see, again, we have the sun entering Scorpio today for the next month. Excuse me. I haven't had any tea yet this morning. Also, on Saturday, there's going to be a partial lunar eclipse. It either happens at 11:01 or it starts at, it may not be fully, whatever that's going to look like. It may not have reached its maximum at that point. Probably not. But then we have the full, it's probably just beginning at 11:01. The thing is that the full moon is actually at 1:24 p.m. my time on the West Coast here. And it's Pacific time. So I don't, unless it's up in the sky, and I haven't been outside to see that. It was up at night last night, so I don't think we're going to see that. Maybe somewhere in the country will, maybe on the East Coast, I don't know. But I don't think that I'm going to be able to see that where I am. But I'll go out there anyway just to see. Because I slept through I don't know, we overslept when we had the solar eclipse. The Ring of Fire, and it was supposed to be cloudy, but for whatever reason we overslept and we missed it, and we could have seen it, so I'm just devastated, right? But I just don't know. I'll go out and I'll look around and I'll see what I can see. I'll use my satellite apps and the sky apps I have on my phone to see where the moon is. But if it's up, then hopefully I'll be able to see this. But I kind of doubt it. I just doubt it. I don't think it's going to be up at all. Not given where it was in the sky last night when we were out. So, and we were out probably in the 9 o'clock hour. So, and I got pictures. It's really cool last night. Some clouds around it. It was very cool. But anyway, that's on Saturday. So I'll mention it again on Thursday when next we meet. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I appreciate you coming by. I hope you'll click subscribe and come back and join us. I do this 2 days a week on Mondays and Thursdays. And check out the blog, Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. Click on more below the video and it'll show you, if you forget the address, it'll be right there, plus a little explanation of what I do here. And then there'll be some links to where I am on social media and stuff like that there. And if you've been here before and you've come back, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You have no idea. I really enjoy looking at tarot and runes and pretty much I like to do pendulum work. I love divination. It's just interesting to see what actually comes to pass from it. And at minimum, it gives you an idea of how to process your life here in form, essentially. Your relationships with one another, your interactions, your perceptions, how you might see something a little differently. And if it doesn't apply the day of the reading, maybe it'll apply later on. So you may remember, oh, well, gee, maybe I should, that crazy lady on the YouTube machine there, she said I should probably think about it this way, and maybe it'll help. Who knows? So anyhow, thanks for watching. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.